she's so fine. Hell of a blows my mind. Hell of a lights my day.
What's good, guys? Today is Monday, September the 5th, 2022, Labor Day. This is going to be episode 2 in the Who is Kimberlu Wiles saga. And as I promised, this video will be regarding the narrative that was inserted into the J4K community. And I want to go ahead and outline that entire narrative. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. And then episode 3, we'll get some more information regarding who Kimberlu Wiles is. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut to the narrative so that you guys can hear exactly what was inserted into the community. And then you can also, you might also get a little bit of deja vu because it goes right in along with another person's narrative that they are trying to insert into the J4K community. So let's go ahead and get to it. After reading this, please go research. This party, or such as it was being planned months before September. James Coleman worked for that biological center in Rosemont, and when they got busted by the FBI, he took the fall and was supposed to do life. As everyone knows, he didn't. He got out because of the higher-ups. James owed them a lot of money. He came home and apparently talked to Teresa, and that's where Kanika came in the mix. Neek did witness Andrew Holmes' daughter get murdered. She witnessed Pappy get murdered, and they thought she talked on that one, but she didn't. Whoever she dated, she flipped to their gang, and if you know anything about gangs, that is something you don't do. She was supposed to do a drop for her ex Rico, but she never did it and never gave the product back or offered money. The week after she died, she was supposed to testify against T.Y. If you have done any type of research, then you know this goes back to the Larry Hoover days. Carl, James, Big Chuck, Larry Hoover, and Kenneth Sr. all used to run in the same gangs together. Wendy Jenkins is married to Larry Hoover, and she is Neek and Kenny's grandma. A lot of things happened that tore their friendship apart, and they went their separate ways. That is when shit started between these families. T.Y.'s brother was shot by a brother of Neek's, and not the stud aunt. I'm telling you all this so you will understand why things happened the way it did. Neek was a snitch. She told everything. She couldn't hold water. Here in Chicago, that's a huge no-no. No face, no case is the motto here. But she didn't live by that. Y'all keep saying, go to the FBI or the police. Well, the FBI won't touch it, and the police was paid. And if you snitch here in Chicago, you are as good as dead. The party that was supposed to be for Irene's and Peasy's birthday, I'm sure you all figured out, was not a birthday party. It was planned months in advance. Brianna Cotton stole the credit cards, and Shaniqua Watkins got the rooms. There were 3 hotels that I was aware of: the Doubletree, Crown Plaza, and the Marriott downtown. There were several rooms rented in each hotel, each for different purposes. Neek didn't want to go that night. Monifa talked her into going. She wanted to go to the movies and see It. If you saw T.Y. and his sister's FaceTime video, then you've seen he was there looking for her. She was going to die no matter where she was. Irene, Chalo, Little Ty, R.I.P., and Sharika Garrett were the ones in the car with Neek that night. They made a stop at the liquor store and went on about their business to the hotel. They made one more stop before they got to Rosemont, and that was to see Zach. He was not in New York that night. Neek had been messing with Zach since she was 12, and decided she didn't want him anymore. She wanted change in her life. She got into nursing school and got a job at a nursing home. She was trying to change her life for the better. This is where you guys always say I'm lying, but I'm not. She told Zach she didn't want to mess with him anymore. He, of course, got mad, and they argued a little later. Into their argument, he did slit her throat. There is a video in Irene's car that night, and right before the video goes off, you can see the passenger side back door open. Then the video goes off. When they go to Rosemont, Neek wasn't alive. When they got to Rosemont, Neek wasn't alive. They literally dumped her in a wooded area to go in and get a laundry cart to put her body in to take it into the hotel. They did a lot to her that night. Tolliver Herman, which is Monifa's ex-boyfriend, took the laundry cart upstairs. She was never in the hallways. She was never fighting anyone or none of that. That night happened so fast. They brought her up to 926. Later on the bed, yes, dead. And here is the part that sounds like a movie, but I swear to you happened. Mike Tate, Charles Dorsey, and their friends took turns having sex with her. Yes, she was dead. Mike, Irene, and I all leveled up that night in our gangs. They had a couple people playing Neek through the halls and the kitchen. Tanasia and her sister played Neek in those halls. When they were through having sex with her, they put her back in the laundry cart, covered her up, and took her back downstairs. I believe you can see Tolliver pushing that cart in the videos. He got her to the kitchen, and someone was coming, so they did dump her body in the dumpster until whoever was in the kitchen left. They got her out of the dumpster and took her inside and sprayed her down, and then took her to the old hospital downstairs under the kitchen. I swear to y'all on my kids, they took her organs and cremated her. She wasn't the only one who died that night, though. Eugenia Walker was pregnant, and she told everybody she was going to snitch, so they got her and took her baby that night. The tall white man with the little girl, they got both of them. And the black gentleman that went missing, I think in Detroit, was killed that night as well. Geneva Knox and Antonia Evans also lost their lives that night. All organs were taken and paid for, and the money dispersed to everyone. Neek was not in that casket, and she is not in that grave. Why do you think she doesn't have a headstone? The YouTuber King Rob was definitely there. He had a crush on Neek. There is a video of him driving around Neek and her friends and family one night. Not sure when, but he knew them. We all played our parts and got paid. Am I proud of it? No, I'm not. Do I wish I could change it? Yes, I do. Everything that was done to Neek by everyone was filmed and sent to Kenny on his burner phone while he was in prison. He knows everything. I work for someone in Rosemont. He knows everything. I work for someone in Rosemont. I'm telling y'all this because y'all keep asking questions, so here's your answers. Monifa, Maya, Bree, and Irene are snakes. They lie to make themselves look good. I know I fucked up, but they never will admit to beating her up or dragging her or anything. Yes, the hotel was involved, because that is what the Crown Plaza is known for here. They got paid just like we all did. The security guard that night was not a real security guard. He is Charles Dorsey's best friend. There were 4 to 5 gangs in that room that night. Anytime there is a common goal, the gangs will come together to accomplish it. There were Vice Lords, GDs, BDs, Mexican Cartel. Each gang has a different set within itself, like a different branch. I hope this answers some questions you may had. Now, I'm not going to go and poke holes in all this, although I could, and I'm not trying to be a smartass about it. But it's the biggest, we'd be here all night with comedy, literal comedy, at the silliness contained in this. The very first line, after reading this, please go research. No, you should have researched before you put this foolery out into the world. That's what you should have done. Now, I'm not going to get into the James Coleman thing, but as big of a case as the Biological Resource Center was, which spanned from Arizona to Michigan to Illinois, if you think for 1 second that if James Coleman got popped by the FBI, number one, there's no record of him being popped. They've got all of the people mentioned who got popped. The higher-ups couldn't have done nothing about that. I found this part to be kind of silly. It was kind of tossed in there. He came home, he being James Coleman, came home and apparently talked to Teresa. And that's where Kanika came in the mix. Were you there when he apparently talked to Teresa? That part was just silly. They had to, though, somehow get a mix of where Kanika comes into the picture, and that was the best they had. As far as Kanika witnessing Andrew Holmes' daughter get murdered, that happened in Indianapolis. She did not witness that murder, nor did she witness Pappy getting murdered. And we can kill that too, literally. There's just so much foolery contained in it. I don't even know where to pick from. There's just so much in this contained herein. Tolliver Herman, they've got him there. He was never there. We figured that out. Also, and we figured that out through research, real actual research. They talk about the tall white man with the little girl. They got both of them. And the black gentleman that went missing, I think in Detroit, was killed that night as well. Well, let me tell you about that gentleman. Clark Avenue researched the hell out of that. He even called that man's family. So that's false. That is a false narrative. This is a good example of a false narrative. There's just so much stuff in here. You think for 1 second that this person talking about how snitches this and snitches that is going to write this statement? Come on, man. I truly believe that, and this is not the first case they've done this on either, just so you know. Anytime a celebrity passes away, boom, there they are. They're lurking. It's like they get off on it, or I actually thought about this the other day. Crystal Dean, who is Rachel Smith, who then turned into Rachel Thornton after young Dolph passed away. She may actually believe that she is Rachel Smith Thornton. She may be that sick to believe that she is that person. But as you can see in the video provided by Nathan and Renee, they did the research and they tracked this back to Crystal Dean. There's no getting out of it. Period. So there's no debate on who Kimberlu Walls is. That's been proven, was proven in episode 1. Nathan Renee proved it. We also then proved that Gabrielle Young is actually Kimberlu Walls, who is also Crystal Dean. They got popped on that. They're starting to make a lot of sloppy mistakes. And because it's too much now, there's too much heat on them, and it's too much for one person to be able to cover all these tracks. So, like I said, this video is just going to be the narrative. The next video should be really fun. Episode 3 will be really fun. And we're going to get into some more about Kimberlu Walls. So stay tuned, guys, and I hope everybody has a great holiday.